League Championship Series is here. The Astros will play the New York Yankees. That is starting actually tonight, but the most topical is the 7th inning of last night's Nationals versus Cubs game, where even if you don't like the Nationals, you gotta feel a little bad. Just the human aspect of it. The Cubbies went on to win 9-8. They were able to end the Nationals' hopes of winning a playoff series because, believe it or not, the last Nationals team to win a playoff series, they were called the Montreal Expos, and I believe Tim Raines was batting leadoff. It's been a long time. So, in general, what started off with the Nationals getting a very early lead to make you think that's it.
Right.
You know, they're gonna eventually bring in Scherzer, which is what they did. It was the right call. How could you not trust this guy who's been brilliant for you game in and game out for multiple seasons now? He's got the crazy different colored eyes, which turned into crazy different colored crying Jordans at the end of the game, which I thought was great.
Awesome.
But then there was the 7th inning, and I will very quickly read to you what happened. After 6 pitches and 2 outs, because that's what Scherzer did, he needed 1 out. He needed 1 different break on a ball. He needed one of those bloops to go a little bit further out. Any of it would have bailed him out. But Scherzer intentionally walks Jason Hayward. Javi Baez comes up in an 0-2 count. There's a pass ball strikeout. I'll show you some pictures and post that we'll throw in. But on that pass ball strikeout, Javi Baez's bat came around and ever so slightly, but enough, tapped Matt Wieters' catcher's mask. Unintentionally or intentionally, both result in the same thing, a dead ball. Javi Baez should never have been allowed to go past first base. That error should never have happened. He never would have been called for it if they were able to review it correctly. Then 1 run scores, Wieters claims catcher's interference and a dead ball, doesn't go his way. Wieters goes up against La Stella, and then John Jay gets hit by a pitch. The rule in itself, if a batter strikes a ball and misses and swings so hard, he carries that bat all the way around, and in the umpire's judgment, unintentionally hits the catcher or the ball in the back of him. On the backswing, it shall be called a strike only, not interference. The ball will be dead, however, and no runner shall advance on the play. A brutal way for Dusty Baker, who has a...
You know why they can continue? I'm sorry if you have more.
Go. No, that's and then you saw that hit by pitch. And it's 7-4 Cubbies.
So
yeah, 7-4 Cubbies.
Of course, on the not even blind eye, but in the eye of looking at the rule, you're gonna say, oh, they screwed them over. But there's always a phrase, 3 words that change it all by the umpire's discretion, or so whatever the term was they just said in that.
Of course.
It wasn't his discretion that he hit him. That's all they're gonna say, and they're wrong.
But the replay said that he hit him. And we have instant replay, so that's the point. Are we not going to use it? And then, by the way, there was this Lobaton call. This was even brutal. And then there's somebody even got a better picture of this. Kudos to this guy at Proogs who found this screenshot where it can clearly see the centimeter between the bag and the foot, and also the tag being applied.
So, and then, well, honestly, so there was that to start it. But even after the pass ball or the wild pitch, whichever you want to call it, I think it was because actually scored a pass ball, right?
Pass ball, wild pitch, interference, bloop singles.
By the time Wieters comes and collects the ball back at the backstop, don't throw it.
Don't throw it. Yeah, you're right. He was beat by a lot. That's a good point.
No one was scoring yet.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the 5th. Didn't they score like 4 runs in that debacle of an inning?
I don't know. Over the 6-hour, 37-minute baseball game, which I enjoyed. Don't get me wrong. It was wild.
But the thing is, The thing is, I guess that's why the rule's in place, because I get it. It's a big game, so you're like, I'm still gonna throw this guy out. So it's impulse to do such a thing, because you're a professional baseball player. You can throw the ball to first base. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and it's kind of like a rookie mistake. It's a strong one, because it's exactly what you said. The guys were just overly excited. They kind of bit a little more than they can chew, and unfortunately compromised this series for them. Because at least I thought it was gonna go a different direction.
Yeah, we all did. We all thought the Nationals
had them. So did the Cubs, because the Cubs played a garbage game yesterday. They tried to lose that game so many different ways. After they were up, after the debacle of an inning.
That's the Joe Madden way. It's the Joe Madden and the Joe Girardi way. And I love Joe Madden. He's super unconventional. He makes his players dress up as some weird costumes in spring training, which is really funny. He buys the reporters beers at the first press conference of the year. Like, he's a great guy. But my God, it's like he aims the gun at his foot and only shoots off his pinky toe in every single series, being like, I can't believe you're saving face. He's a gambler. We reward this in football. I mean, at least on this panel, we always have.
Was this on Madden? Was this any kind of gambling? Or was this just his players?
The Wade Davis thing was gambling. After he saw what happened with Chapman last year, bringing in for 7 outs, it's like, here comes a guy who's never gotten more than 3 outs. So here he is from the 7th inning on. Okay.
It was gambling and it was poor decision making at the end of the day. I can't blame it all on gambling, and you're right. In any other sport, this probably would have been the smartest move. But they didn't even have to gamble. That's the thing. Like, they didn't have to react the way that they did for this game. They could have done this the first game. If they really wanted to act this way, they could have done this the first game. But for whatever the reason, they decided to do it.
The reason was because they were playing the Washington Nationals.
Keeping it very, very real, the Nationals have not had a good 5-year run. I mean, they've had a good 5-year regular season run, and one of the more interesting statistics that you're going to see is every LDS they've lost is either in 4 or 5 games. Nationals franchise 0-4 at home in winner-take-all postseason games. It's the most home losses in winner-take-all games without a win. They have the talent. One of the things I found amazing was Dave Schoenfield, who's a good Twitter follower for baseball stats and stuff like that, was talking about what is the most talented team to just not even make it to the World Series, let alone even compete for one. The Mariners, he brought up with Griffey and Randy Johnson, a young A-Rod, a still 53-year-old Jamie Moyer at that point, even though it was 1998. And they mentioned like people forget the 2008 through 14 Tigers, who actually averaged less regular season wins than these 2012 through 2017 Nationals. And you're thinking that's Miguel Cabrera, Justin Verlander in his prime, those type of players. So the Nationals might be the most talented team on paper. It just reminds me so much, especially in the NL East, of when the Braves would go and win the division year in and year out and then never make it out of the DS, except for the 1 year. And they had the top to bottom talent to win 10 of 13 World Series.
This is where you wonder though, is it because of a mental breakdown? Because there's the regular season when there's a relaxed, in some cases, a relaxed approach to making it through the distance, right? But then now you're in crunch time where every pitch means something else, as we saw, and then you have to think things through. And that's when it goes to preparing, knowing the mindset of your players, preparing them to do things a certain way. Be like, okay, you guys, this is what's gonna happen. You need to react this way. Keep your heads, or approach things differently. This was the complaints about the Dodgers in recent years.
Yeah, it's a good point. They've been close.
And something bad happens from your best pitcher in the world. Something bad happens, and it happens more than once. Yes, you have to have it's there's physical preparedness and there's mental preparedness, and maybe sometimes you need to know your team enough to do it. I feel like I'm sweeping through all the teams I root for. The Clippers have the same problem in the NBA.
Clippers are great in the 4th quarter. I have no idea what you're talking about. One of the other interesting things about these last 4 remaining is, if I have this in order correctly, which I believe I do, New York is the biggest city. Los Angeles is number 2. Chicago is number 3, and Houston is number 4. Those are the 4 most populated cities in the country. So you technically would have, by population, the 4 biggest markets in the country, fighting for a World Series. As I said before, MLB drooling over the idea.
Are you starting a conspiracy theory that this was all planned?
Sounds like it.
Right?
It kind of did sound like it.
Look, interestingly, and yes, first of all, I love conspiracy theories. Let's first start with that. The conspiracy that I would like is that the Mets would find a way to sneak back into the World Series. So that's not happening.
Cleveland somehow loses to the Yankees. How does that happen?
Again,
that's pretty unbelievable.
And I will go to my grave with this one. I will die on this hill. Joe Girardi should still maybe be fired for getting through the League Championship Series. It's the same as Joe Madden, though. It's the same type of thing that we talk about with Sean Payton and the New Orleans Saints in the Super Bowl, where he has the onside kick in the 2nd half, and they get it. What a brilliant call by Sean Payton. It's the most brilliant call in Super Bowl history. It's so gutsy, it's unbelievable. If he doesn't get it, what do we say? Fire Sean Payton. I don't care that he got us to the Super Bowl. He doesn't deserve to be here. What a bonehead play. He cost us the game. So somehow in baseball, though, the other last tweet I read is like, baseball is just a reoccurring, every single day, every time you step up to the plate, failure after failure after failure.
That's why the games are so long.
Yeah, but I'm old. I like baseball. I'm an old school baseball guy. So
he's a Mets and Giants fan. He enjoys watching failure after failure.
Failure after failure. But I learned from it.
Of course.
And Knicks fan. Oh my God.
You guys
got the trifecta and Knicks.
Are we going to the World Series? I'm sorry, I don't want to curse it. Are we going to the League Championship Series? Because I'm gonna get yelled at. It's gonna be my fault. Have you seen the Dodger hats in the studio today? There's like 7 of them walking
It was like
around.
A welcoming when I walked in.
Yeah, that's why we got the blue on.
I
it's
felt
Dodger
at home.
blue.
Yeah.
See, Jayar, not soft blue or whatever you called it before.
Get it together.
Comment below on at least the Nationals and the Cubbies game. I guess really quick, you guys think the Dodgers are winning the World Series. Why would I even ask who's going to win the World Series? You're both going to say the Dodgers. I'm the asshole. I have the Astros.